Good evening. Shawn here with Accelerators Organization, ready for tonight's mentor session. Let's get started. Don't forget, we are going to email you a link directly to where I am answering your question. And then after this mentor session, I will filter your question to some appropriate mentors who will also be great at answering questions for you. Keep the questions coming. Keep using the resources of AO, even if it's just to determine, what kind of books to read, what kind of articles to read, what trainings you might want to go through for introductions. If you need a bookkeeper, if you need a graphic designer or web developer, reach out to Shirley and ask her for any help so we can try to put you with the right people, okay? Here we go. The first question comes from Bob, and Bob says, how should I approach price point testing when my primary pricing consideration, customer acquisition cost, is unknown? The background is, in the spring, I tested my SAT prep software at $249 price point and did not generate any sales. During testing, I uncovered a similar product that is free. I do believe I have valuable differentiators for this product, and I want to test the market at a lower price point, around $30 to $50. Okay, Bob, this was a great learning lesson for you. Part of launching a new product out in the marketplace is to be sure that we do a thorough market research to figure out who the potential competitors, or what are the potential competitors to our business or product or service. I'll give you an example. Let's use AO, okay? When I put together my branding and I work with my advertising and marketing teams, they always say, well, who are the competitors that we should take a look at so that we're narrowing our message or building an audience or what have you. And as I've looked over the years with AO, it's not an individual coach. It's not, even though that is a potential competitor, really my biggest competitor are the free resources that are out there. And so it's the person, the entrepreneur who does it themselves, not somebody who's buying a membership or paying an individual coach. It's really more people that are just doing it themselves. And so I have to take that into consideration as I build the pricing model. So initially, when I started the hobby phase, if you will, of AO, it was just called Most Won't I Will, and it was a Facebook group, and it was just me. And I charged a one-time fee of $99, and then I raised it to $149, and then I raised it to $199, and then I raised it to $249. Then I went to $10 a month, and then I went to $48 a month, and now we're at $99 per month. In your business, it's the same way. As you're looking to build your audience, your pricing model can change and quite possibly should and would change. In the beginning, we really want to just start getting clients and start building the audience, building the clientele, and then sometimes we let the business evolve naturally by doing business with more and more people. So that's one way. Now, as a software play, if you're specifically just selling software, you are in one of the most competitive industries in the world, selling software. And most people sell software as a service type of business model. And so that's something you might want to look at: who the ideal client is, who is the decision maker, what are the other options that they have instead of what you have, and do you have a type of product or service that you can just have a website and somebody's going to fully make a decision based on just the website? Or do you need a sales process where people say, I'd like a demonstration, or I'd like an initial consultation, or something like that? As you know, with AO, that is something that even we are doing. We wanted to, even though myself, all of the mentors say that AO is dirt cheap for what we do, I still have not reached a tipping point with AO to where everybody is just signing up every day. So I'm still in that. I got to do everything I can to make it as easy as possible for my ideal member in AO to not only find us, but then to take a look under the cover, maybe try it out risk-free for a month, and then show them that we know what we're doing. So that's something you can take a look at with your business model. Here's another thing, and this is really, really going to throw you for a loop here. It all also depends on what kind of company you're looking to build. Are you looking to build a brand that is name recognized, or do you not necessarily care if they know who you are or what have you? And let me give you an example. We used to have a mentor, Meredith Shirk. Well, she has a good friend who I just got introduced to by the name of Emily. And Emily runs native ads like on websites, just like when you're scrolling a website and there's ads on the website. And she has a back pain program. It's $37. And so what she does is when someone who's 50 plus years old clicks on one of the native ads, they go to her video sales letter that is perfectly copywritten, designed, testimonials. I mean, it's a beautiful, perfect page to convert. By the way, she does over $20 million in annual sales. That $37 that she gets from someone buying that digital infomercial product or even a set of DVDs, yes, DVDs, older people, 50 plus, still buy DVDs. The $37 is what she calls a loss leader. She doesn't make any money. That goes pretty much to running the ads and the customer acquisition cost. But now what happens is with the number of people that are buying that $37 product, she then has an entire lead email marketing person and that looks for additional offers to start sending out to her email list. And she told me straight out that she blows up their email upwards of twice a day with offers of anywhere from $20 to $40. That's the sweet spot. And she just pounds them. It's not relationship building. It's just how much money can we make on our email list. And she does $20 million a year and makes a lot of profit. There are so many different ways to run a business these days in this regard. It's crazy. So it really means us digging into what kind of business we want to build. A software play means that you've got to make a decision of how you're going to get in touch with your customers and what the buying process is. Can you just do advertising? Someone clicks on the ad, goes to the website and buys? Does that work? If not, what are the other options that you might split test? Maybe it is showing on the software and then booking a demonstration and you having sales reps or demonstration people like Shirley does do those things. But certainly it sounds like there's a lot of really, really heavy lifting that you still have to do to determine what is going to get someone to buy your software. And here's another thing, another idea. Is your software the actual thing that they should be buying, or should they be buying an individual consultant that uses the software to help the student, right? So maybe you have coaches that get to use the software and they go out and target the students and the coaches pay you, something like that. So you're still figuring out your business model, and that's great. Start split testing all kinds of things to determine what's gonna be that magic gold rush of clients that you get. And then when you find that, go all in. That's exactly what I'm doing with AO. I've got SEO going on. I've got Facebook and Instagram ads going on. We're about to launch some additional Facebook ads to different VSLs. I've got my Instagram. I'm building an email list. Shirley is doing cold calling. We're trying anything and everything to figure out what's gonna be the best way for AO to attract new members. So I'm in the same situation you are. I'm trying anything and everything in order to find out what is that gold pipeline. I'm spending a lot of money and a lot of time. It's very frustrating. I want things to move faster because I know we've got a great organization, but I just know that this is the process. And I've been through it before, so I can have a little bit more patience. All right, that's a long answer, man, and I hope that helps give you some ideas and thoughts, okay? All right, the next question comes from Matt Phipps, and Matt says, what's the best way to convert social media hype to website sales? The background is our branding has been doing very well and has gained a lot of traction on social media. We have a problem converting that traffic to our website. Several people ask if they can purchase it somewhere other than our website. We tried Instagram shopping, but have been denied due to the type of product we sell. Okay, Matt, so there's a bunch of stuff in here that kind of throws up red flags for me. And you and I spoke, and I know that there's a lot of things that you're going back to and talking with your business partners about as well. So the first thing it says, our branding has been doing very well. That's how you started out the background. Our branding has been doing very well. Well, I don't know what that means. What does very well mean? What does branding mean? It's kind of vague, okay? We've gained a lot of traction on social media. Well, what does a lot mean and what is traction? How are you measuring those data points? We want to start measuring data points as soon as possible because, you know, I always love it when someone says, I grew 100% this year. Okay, well, what does that mean as far as numbers? Oh, last year we had 2 clients and now we have 4. We made $100. Right? So things just like statistics on politics and on the TV can be skewed, right? What is start getting specific on your data. Our branding, what does that mean? Has been doing very well. Okay, what does very well mean? Has gained a lot. What's a lot? Of traction. And what do you call traction? Number of followers, number of likes, number of comments, number of clicks on your website, number of DMs. What is a lot and what does traction mean? And then we have a problem converting that traffic. Okay, well, what traffic is there? Are you saying that just because you're increasing some followers on social media, that then they're not liking and commenting or sending you DMs or clicking your website and doing those things? So what is the conversion funnel that you guys are doing? You know, if you take a look at my Ask a Millionaire Instagram account, I tried something for a couple months with a new branding. The engagement went boop. And so I went back to my black post because I was paying my graphic designer to do these things and we were losing engagement. People just like the black post with the white writing and it's getting better engagement, okay? But if you take a look at like the link in my bio, how I have call to action buttons, it looks great, it's on brand, it sends people over. My Instagram highlights, I'll explain everything that we do. The funnel is built. And the funnel can be built even better with some new video sales letters and things. But social media marketing, not social media branding, the look and feel of the page, but the marketing is a very specific spider web of way that you've got to run your social media from a marketing perspective to get people to start taking action. If you'll notice, every now and then I'll throw up a post that says, if you're a business owner and want mentorship, I'm paraphrasing, send me a direct message. Well, that's how many people in AO have joined, is they've sent me a direct message. I tell them to take a risk, trust me. If they trust my content, trust me, there's a risk-free thing here. Go sign up. So that's part of the process. And that's what, if you're going to use social media to try and get clients, that's a process and funnel that you want to create for that business, okay? And it has to be very specific of a funnel, all right? I hope that helps, okay? Next question comes from Carrington, and Carrington said, is narrowing the scope of industries I service or market to a benefit or a detriment? The background is I am a commercial brand photographer servicing product-based businesses to create e-commerce, marketing, and brand-specific photography. When it comes to brands and types of products, the options are endless. I mainly shoot footwear, beverages, skincare, and jewelry. Is narrowing down the scope of work I produce a good decision, or is keeping options open with a main focus better? Okay, well, all of the question that you're asking and the background that you're giving, Carrington, is all also very subjective and very vague. I like to, when I'm first starting business, which is what I'm doing with AO, I always like to try to determine, especially when I'm the only person in the company, which AO, I'm not the only person, but for you, I think you're the only person in your company. I want to find the lowest hanging fruit first. Think about walking up to an apple tree and you're starving and that apple tree is full of apples and you're going to climb this tree to get an apple because you're hungry. Are you going to skip over the fruit that's right there at the very bottom of the tree in order to try to continue climbing to the very top of the tree or out on the very limb of the branch in order to get that apple? Are you going to pick the very first apple that you come to because you're hungry? That's called the lowest hanging fruit. And especially when we're a solopreneur and a single person operator, we want to go after the lowest hanging fruit, because that means that the sales cycle is going to be faster, and we are going to which means we're going to close deals faster and people are going to buy faster, and we're going to be able to start creating revenue faster. Okay, wherever and I know that your question is narrowing the scope of industries I service better to benefit. Of course, narrowing and getting the lowest hanging fruit is absolutely the best in the beginning. Now, then as you start to grow, you'll have to figure out, is there enough low hanging fruit to start bringing on new team members and get you to 1 million? Or are you going to have to start vertically expanding in order to find new routes to go after? I also think that the way that you explain your company, I'm a commercial brand photographer servicing product-based businesses. I am a commercial brand photographer that photographs products and to provide great imagery of products to people that are posting those images on e-commerce. I would find a better way to put that, but I would get more specific and more clear and concise on exactly what you do and how you do it. I think that'll also help in your messaging as you're talking with people as well. And I know you've been working on this, but yes, I would create some sort of sales system. I've sent you some websites on Instagram or Facebook ads that people are doing. Ripen, I think, was the name of it, or maybe that was it. But I would certainly create, if I were you and I was a single person operator, I would think about implementing a sales process where I was actually calling businesses and pitching them on what I do. And I would probably, because I'm imagining that you're not going to call on Nike, right? Because Nike probably has an agency in-house, right? So who is the ideal client for you? It's going to be someone that doesn't have an in-house photography creative team. You might reach out to creative directors on LinkedIn and Facebook groups, like groups of creative directors, and start reaching out and networking with all of them and putting together a portfolio, like a pitch deck. They call it an electronic press kit, a portfolio that looks amazing, that shows people exactly what you do, what your capabilities are, and then to contact you for rates. And I would reach out and develop relationships with any and every creative director and graphic designer, web designer. I would want to be networking with everybody who has e-commerce clients, and then start working on getting referrals from those clients as well, because those can be great feeder systems for you. The other alternative is that you're going to basically just Google, or Shopify. I think you can Google within Shopify all of the USA-based e-commerce stores that involve shoewear, footwear, and just take a look at every single one of them. Go to the contact page of those websites, shoot them an email. If there's a phone number, start calling and saying, hey, who does your product photography? If you don't have anybody in-house, if you need somebody, I'm based in XYZ city, and I'd love to be a resource for you. That's just good old-fashioned networking, canvassing, cold calling, and that's what it's all about in the beginning, okay? Hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from Carrington, and Carrington says, is it beneficial to engage with companies and prospects on social media organically before reaching out to them directly? The background is I'm a commercial brand photographer specializing in e-commerce marketing and brand-specific product photography. I recently brought on someone to manage my social media because I was not being consistent, and I'm actively trying to be better. Does it make sense to engage with brands for a period of time before reaching out to them directly, or does it not make a difference and just prolong the sales process? My opinion, and I think the opinion of Tom Black, our resident sales coach, would be is that it's prolonging the process and it won't make a difference, and it's better just to go call on your client or call on your prospect. The only reason, if knowing what you do, Carrington, I would only want to showcase the amazing imagery. Think of your imagery like before and after pictures of people who are losing weight. Here is an amateur image of someone who tried to shoot something on their iPhone and didn't have the proper background, lighting, shading, etc. And here's what my professional work looks like. And I would have a complete side by side in imagery. And then I would have in my agreement with my clients that it's okay for me to post some of their pictures, giving them credit and shouting them out and tagging them for additional exposure for them of the photography of stuff that you do for them. I would not personally spend a lot of time on social media marketing. I would have it there for branding, but not necessarily marketing. I would have an outbound marketing process of calling on potential clients and try to get them as clients. As part of your social media manager role, they could and should manage your comments and your direct messages. And it would not hurt if it wouldn't cost you too much to have them put together, some sort of call to actions in the stories or something for you to get some prospects. You can also use, depending on the number of followers you have, you could do some Instagram live streams in which you're going to have your social media person, if they're in person with you, hold a camera while you're taking, and they're doing kind of behind the scenes footage, and you could be doing some kind of tutorials of this is what I'm doing. But from a sales perspective, picking up the phone, calling your prospects, creating the sales process, that's what I would do if it were me. Okay? Hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from AJ, and AJ says, how do I overcome fear of disappointing people? The background is I constantly struggle with the balance of standing up for the best interests of my business and family versus telling people things that I'm afraid will disappoint them. What tactics, mindset, strategies, etc. do you use to help yourself say what truly needs to be said and accept whatever the outcome is? Okay, one of the things, I've read thousands of personal development articles and books and watched countless TED Talks and videos around just being a better communicator and keeping the right people around me and saying no and not feeling guilty. This is a good feeling, AJ, that you do care about the people that you're thinking that you disappoint. And this is a long process of getting through that. So there's probably not one quick fix that I'm going to give you, but I will give you a really good resource around this, okay? And it's a really high level resource. There is a Hindu priest who used to be a monk. His name is Dandapani, 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 and he's now based in Costa Rica, and he's a good friend. He has spoke at a couple AO events, and he has a YouTube channel filled with hundreds of hours of free content of him teaching how to control the awareness in our brain so that we can maintain focus and concentration. He also talks about, in a lot of his stuff, people who are vampires and drainers of our energy, and he actually offers guidance and strategies of how to deal with those people. Like, just because I've taken his class and gone to the workshop doesn't qualify me to teach you how to do it. So I don't want to try to teach you how to do it. I would rather you go to his resources and learn from him. He also has a mobile app that I would recommend getting, Dandapani mobile app. I don't know if it's on Android, but I know it's on iPhone for sure. And it's basically all about all of these principles of learning how to say no, learning how to manage people in our lives, and how to maintain our happiness. And this is a lifelong journey. He even talks about that he still has his moments and his days that all the shit he teaches, he gets triggered. We all get triggered. That would be what I would recommend. I have my own way of dealing with people that like that. You know, I have always just been ultra focused and ultra about, it takes a lot for someone to get in my inner circle, and I prune very quick and very easy. I don't mind, I've just learned I don't mind being alone. Maybe it was my childhood, being in a military family. We moved around a lot, so I didn't create a lot of connections with people at an early age. So maybe that's why I'm so wildly independent today. But there's all kinds of ways to do this. But Don DePonte's information is probably one of the best that I have found. There's also just you elevating your ability to communicate with people will help you. I put a lot of communication articles in the resource center in the communication part. There's also a lot of documents in the leadership category in the resource center that could help you as well, because we use, not only in our business life, but in our personal life, we use leadership strategies and techniques and tools in order to navigate the relationships, not only in our business, but in our personal life. These are the skills that we constantly develop as we evolve within our life and within our business, okay? Hope that helps, man. You're a good guy. Okay, the last question comes from Mariel, and Mariel says, should I set different pay rates for private versus public events for my team? The background is, when we do private events, my team members are fully paid by our clients. I started with only private events and charge $50 per hour per support staff. Aisle bartend keeps $25 an hour and my team makes $25 an hour. Now that we have started going and doing public events, it is a huge risk to guarantee $25 an hour plus tips. If we do not get any business, I get crushed by payroll. However, the outdoor events are exhausting, hot, and require an incredible amount of physical labor, so it seems wrong to pay less for these. Not sure what to do. My team is already becoming spoiled, and I need to rethink how we pay and what my expectations are from them. I realize that will be addressed when I create an employee handbook. I tell you, I would need to understand a little bit about these public events. Are you basically saying that you as a vendor are sponsoring a public event like a festival or some sort of public event, and they're basically saying either A, you paid to come showcase your stuff and sell drinks and sell your products and services, and you keep everything you get, or you pay a percentage to the public event, blah, 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 and you're taking a risk, kind of like being at a farmer's market, right? Yeah, that would be a tough one. I think that if you could get and survive and grow specifically doing private events where people pay you to perform your services and you know what the money is going to be, that's the route to go. From a public event perspective, I guess it would all depend on the type of event and what the scenario is. Of course, you want to make sure that you make money in any situation that you do. And you'll have to analyze that risk that is presented to you from some public event like a farmer's market or something like that, where they're saying, hey, you can come in and offer all your stuff. It's great for us because you're here and it's all on you if you make money or not. That would be a tough one being a small business owner. And I think that's a risk that you'll have to evaluate yourself. But it doesn't sound like you have, and when you say different pay rates for private and public, I think, you're talking about how much you pay your team. Whew, that is a tough one. If it were me, Mariel, knowing your situation of what you're talking about, this is where your leadership skills and your vision skills are going to come out. I would be selling my team on, listen, when we do a public event, we all share in the risk and we all share in the profit, 100%. So if there's 4 team members that are going to work with you, or 3 team members and you, that are going to work a public event, and it's an all-day outdoor thing, you say, hey, listen, at the end of the day, we are going to take the revenue minus the hard costs of what it costs to do the event. Whatever's left over, we're going to split 25% each. And the reason that this is a good thing for all of us, knowing that some events we might make a killing, some events we might not make that much. The reason we as a company want to do this is to get our name out there. If we are not booked with a private event, we don't want all of our equipment and everything going to waste just sitting in a closet. It's best that we're out there doing as many events as possible to get the brand out there, because as people see us, we can promote our private events. This is a form of marketing for all of us. This gives us jobs. This is what I'd be selling to my team, right? This is what gives us all a greater opportunity to make more money and have job security for the long term. This way they know that you are in it with them. You're not just gonna pay them $25 an hour and make $10,000. You will be transparent with the numbers on the public events and split it with them equally for taking the risk with you. You still win because you get all your stuff paid for and you make 25% of the profit, right? Not a bad margin. And hopefully your team's happy and you guys are in it together. I would consider probably doing something like that. The only time I would consider a flat wage with tips is when I am 100%, I've got the experience from this particular event and this event and this event and this event, and I have a really, really good radar of exactly what we're gonna make at a specific event. If I don't know and it's 100% risk, that's how I would sell it to my team. So food for thought. And here's the thing, Mariel, part of being a small business owner is we get to be nimble. We get to make things up as we go. And it's our leadership with the team and the culture that we create that everybody's on board and everybody wants to see the company succeed. Not everybody, and everybody's not just in it for themselves. We get to use those visionary influencing skills to build that team so that everybody's on board with us. It's like when I was building my last company and I have to ask someone to work till 11 at night, they weren't saying, am I getting paid overtime? They just did it because they loved their job and they saw how amazing the company was and they knew I'd make it up to them. Like they just did it. They never, if it was, no, I'm not doing this unless I make time and a half, man, I just told the person, okay, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And then 2 weeks later, they didn't have a job. And I found somebody that was going to fit the company culture. I know it's a lot harder today because of what's going on in the world with finding people. But that's the energy and the visionary of us as leaders that we have to exude to our teams. We want them in it with us, especially when we're small. Okay? Hope that helps. All right, those were some fantastic questions tonight. Of course they were, because AO members only ask great questions. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you on the next mentor session. Keep asking those questions. And I can't wait to see some of you at the Summer Social right here in this living room in a few weeks. Take care.